We always thought of these interviews as living memorials. And we figured that for people watching this, they have to understand we're not talking about numbers, we're talking about human beings. This isn't fiction. This isn't soap opera. These are real people. This is something that happened within the lifetimes of people talking. It's certainly one of the highlights of my career, something that I'm immensely proud of being a part of.
I listen to stories. I see gestures. I see postures. As a clinician, that's what I do. When I saw the tapes, I saw pain. I saw suffering. This is humans surviving horrific events in their lives. And in light of work that we do, being able to live with it, and then on top of that, share your pain and suffering with others is how we move ahead as humans.
There's nothing magical about me. There's a way of listening and a way of hearing beyond listening. And I think I've developed the ability to listen and to hear. And they need an audience who is willing to listen and willing to hear without interrupting and respond with sympathy and awareness and understanding. There's a myth that survivors were unable to talk about their experiences way after the war, but that's a myth. The truth is that most of them wanted to talk about nothing else when they came to this country, and that people were unwilling to hear them.
These people were torn up inside. They were trembling with the remembrances of their experiences. They tried to talk to people that they met, to in the synagogue, to the rabbis, to others, to family members that they had. Nobody wanted to listen to them. And Leon was one of the only ones, one of the first ones who would listen to them. And they poured out how they felt.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it being overwhelming. One woman lost almost her entire family and yet came over to America, Brookline, started a family of her own, and we just kept going. It was hard. It was definitely when you left, you could feel the heaviness. I just felt privileged to have been able to even work a small part of that.
My father carried the burden of the Holocaust with him every day. He would wake my mother up with his screams often. And my mother would comfort him and tell him it was okay. And it wasn't until I was older that I understood that my parents gave me a gift. And the gift was that I was able to grow up without the knowledge of the details of the events of the Holocaust. And they wanted us to feel like we were part of a family. We weren't left out in the cold.
On Pesach, we'd always have, our seders, and my father would be the one leading the seder. And he'd always say, why are we reading this story? We should be reading our story, what we went through. Who's going to remember? We're remembering, what happened in Egypt, but we're not remembering what happened to all the Jews, during the Holocaust. And he's kind of right. I hope that generations to come will view this as not just a story, but a piece of history, and that there were actual human beings that went through this. We need to remember what happened and what can still happen, and happens all over the world today, and we just can't be in denial. So I commend you for doing this project, and may you have the strength to keep going and get it done and out there so more and more people can see it.
Unless there's something you'd like to add,
thank you very much for coming in.
You're welcome. Nothing is coming to my memory now.
All right, well, we appreciate it very much, and I thank you again.
I'm glad to tell that other people will be able to hear these stories. Not too many people in my age are now alive, and shortly it will be no people that went through this. And it is good that these stories don't die, that somebody will be able to hear them.